Welcome everyone, I'm Raleigh Mason. We're here at a house, talk about flooring. It's something that comes up a lot. We see issues with flooring, but we're not the experts, and we may point out things like stains or areas of the carpet where it's no longer tight, pulled down enough, or certainly if there's damage around the exterior of the wall, maybe in a basement where you got a finished basement and you're dealing with carpet down there. So it's something we always mention to clients, but we don't necessarily see the full process. So I wanted to do just that today, is have a flooring expert that we could go through a house and talk about some of the things that they deal with and how they get a client from what they see when they walk through a house to what they actually would like to see on the floor in that process. So I wanted to bring in one of the experts in the area. So why don't you let them know who you are and the company you're with, Jason?
Yeah, thanks, Raleigh. I'm Jason Barrett. I'm the owner of Floor Coverings International, and we run the franchise for the Bloomington and surrounding areas. And today we're in a home that we're trying to help these folks sell and figuring out the best way to update their flooring to economically help them sell their home.
And I wanted to ask you from a home inspection standpoint, we see a lot of carpets, a lot of flooring that's in houses. And the thing that we see that buyers pick up on aren't things that we're evaluating necessarily, because we're looking at the structure, we're looking at safety and things. But they're obviously focused in on the flooring, as they should be. And so there's sometimes they may ask us to talk about things that they see and ask if that's a problem or not. And the big disconnect is always the flooring. If they're going to replace it, is it more economical to replace with certain flooring types? For instance, we've got a couple different surfaces here. We've got tile, we've got wood, and then we've got carpet. And so if they're coming in and wanting to know what your suggestions would be, just based on the flooring itself, let's start with that. What would your suggestion be in this case to help them sell this house?
Yeah, it's an interesting project. As you talked about, there's a lot of different surfaces here, from tile to carpet, hardwood. Hardwood definitely has value in people's minds, so you always try to keep that in mind when you're making suggestions. But it's going to be the most expensive to extend out into this room or into the kitchen. Most economical, and if you're really trying, if they want to just move the house and put it in the same condition or type surfaces that it has now, it's replacing the carpet. This carpet's been down about 25 years. I always say after 20 years, carpet's lived a good life. It probably needs to be replaced. This is sort of a frise carpet. I mean, it has a little bit of a shag to it and probably needs to be updated for a new buyer. And what carpet does in a home, a new home, or one you're trying to sell, is it smells, and it lets people know that you've done something to create something new in their home. So the most economical option would be to replace that carpet, and that's something we do a lot of. The other options would be that probably aren't as economically feasible, depending on what their budget is luxury vinyl is probably the most popular hard surface on the market today. Waterproof, scratch resist, highly scratch resistant, very lifestyle friendly. But to do that in here, you would probably have to take up all of the flooring or some of the flooring, because it's very hard to sometimes match wood to wood. Yeah. And then from another perspective, you could continue and we could put hardwood down in the rest of this area, which probably would add value to the home. But does the seller want to invest that much in a home that's been on the market for a little while? Those are three options that we talk through and show them different surfaces and color options, and then walk them down the economics of it and balance that out, and hopefully help them make a great decision to help them move their house sooner than later.
Well, let me ask you this then, Jason, because that's good info. As a seller, they're going to want to replace this flooring with what's probably, not everybody's the same, but they may want to say, what's the cheapest or the best economical option? Something that's going to hold up for a little bit, look nice, smell great, like you mentioned. But on the other side of that, would you prefer the sellers come in this instance to say, hey, let's figure out a way where I can come in and help them to have an estimate maybe, that way they know what they want, and it's just a matter of, part of the process is once they are getting closer to move in, you work with them to say, we'll install it once you've closed on it, and then work with the closing company and get a credit, have a check issue to you guys. I don't know how that, do you ever deal with that stuff? Is that something you can deal with?
We do, and we love to do that, because then you're definitely getting the new homeowner exactly what they want, because With the seller, you're trying to make a decision based on what the general public would like and hopefully do that well. The upside to that is when somebody comes in to buy a house, I'm not sure that the first thing they want to do is tear up the floors in a new house.
Yeah.
So if you can make a good decision that would cover the masses, I would tend to encourage people to do that. But we do have a lot of options from every type of surface you could think of. And then we have financing, 12 months, same as cash, some things like that that help ease some of the pain as you've got come into a new house that's 25 years old. There's probably some things that you want to do to it, and flooring's just a piece of that. And hopefully that's an economical way to help the process. So.
Okay, that's great. Do you want to show some samples?
Yeah,
I know
sure.
you got some here.
So here is I would call this a very basic carpet. This would be to upgrade what they have. Pad with carpet is a very important piece, but in this situation, I would probably just put down a standard pad because the new buyers are probably going to have a whole lot of differentiation between the pad. But a lot of different colors in it. This is what's called a tonal carpet. It's got a couple different flecks of different colors in it. Allows you to accessorize with different colors. As you can see, you've got wood floors and sort of a taupe wall color. But if you get into something in this color, it probably blends well with the hardwood and the tile that's in the entryway and touching in the kitchen. But if we said, hey, well, let's invest a little bit more and go into a luxury vinyl, this is a very durable 6mm luxury vinyl, 9 inches wide, which makes it look a little higher end because it's hard to come with hardwood that's that wide. And this comes at a really economical price point from the manufacturer that I work with. And we feel like this would be a really good option if they wanted to invest in putting this in this room. But to put this in this room, you probably have to take out the hardwood because, as you can see, it doesn't necessarily, it's going to be hard to match this hardwood unless you want to go to really matching it. And this is solid hardwood, and that one on the end would be a very close match with the amount of variation that's in this wood. Mm-hmm. This one is a little bit wider, but it does come in the same 2 1/4 width. So we could make this look, it would be very hard for people to tell, other than some wear, which you can tell that there's some wear.
Right.
Wouldn't want to necessarily get into sand and refinish because then you're talking about pretty significant cost. But we could come really close to matching this with the amount of variation you see between these planks. It would be in the same in this. This one's called Sierra, but we could really be very close to doing this, and then that would add value with putting hardwood through the rest of this room. But then again, it's going to probably be the most expensive too. So my suggestion would be to try to satisfy as many people as they can and keep it economical, considering this has been on the market for a little while, is to replace the carpet. And then if somebody else wants to come in and replace that, it's not a huge undertaking. You haven't spent a whole lot of money to change that out, even though that might not be what's best in the flooring world to sell them the least expensive option. That's really what we're here to do, is try to figure out, hey, if I was in this situation, how would I want somebody to approach me of the best way to help me sell my home?
Okay, well, that's awesome. So I have a few questions, and I definitely wanted to bring Jason in because something that's unique about his business is we're in a house, we're talking about one that's trying to sell, and you've got samples down on the floor. The benefits of doing this is just that. That's what your company's about. You're a mobile showroom, right? So maybe talk a little bit about what those advantages are for the clients.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, that's really our biggest point of differentiation is we're coming into the home and hopefully creating a different buying experience than trying to make a decision outside of the home. When you're looking at a sample and trying to picture it with your floors and your walls, this hopefully makes this process a lot easier. And the other model of our business is transparency and comfort. We want people to be very comfortable with who they're dealing with. And the transparency is talking through all the features and benefits and making them feel comfortable with who they're dealing with and what they're getting. So I think the home improvement industry probably doesn't do the best job of that all the time, and we really focus in on that to try to make it the best experience for for the consumer or the customer and make them feel comfortable. And I think this is a great way to illustrate hopefully what we can do in showing them what matches and goes with it, and then you look at cost benefits and analysis and hopefully make a good decision.
I imagine the other benefit that you're dealing with is you've got somebody in a store looking at these things and they're like, I love those colors. They get it installed and it looks completely different because you're not in your own home. You don't have the natural light coming in the way it would be. You're not seeing other things around you. So you've got, whether you're selling or buying, at least you have some lighting in the house, a natural light that can show you that how it's going to look too. And I think that's probably a big benefit to clients where they're seeing that what it's actually going to look like on the floor now.
It is, and I mean, you could pick up the sample like we could do here and we'll take it over and look at the tile with it. Now, tile's pretty generic or plain, but you definitely get an idea of which carpet would look good with this after you've compared it with the hardwood. And oh, by the way, there's a brick fireplace over there and you can compare it with that. So yes, and then as you can see, the light coming through this door is going to look different than it does in other areas, and the flooring definitely looks different. If you can look at the dark of that one, it's in the shadow versus that one. Yep. Very different dynamics that hopefully help them make a very good informed decision. And once again, most importantly, them feel comfortable with a decision of trying to upgrade a house that they're trying to move away from.
Okay, you guys also deal with tile? Can you put down tiling too? Is that one of your
offerings? We do. We're a full service flooring company and we do tile, carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, hardwood. Yes, we could, if they said, hey, I love tile, or we were in Florida or Arizona maybe, we have the option of extending this out. The challenge with this, with moving it is tile's expensive to take up just because of the labor, but it's a very durable, waterproof surface and great for kitchens. So in this situation, I would probably advise them to leave it, but yes, we could work on the tile or extend it out if needed.
Okay, and then we're at the perfect place right here, stairs. You can see the different types of flooring on the stairs. I think that's always something that gets people, and there's not a lot of companies that can deal with stairs very well. So tell me about your company and how you guys deal with stairs. You still have a lot of options there too, you guys.
Yeah, I think there's a couple options. You could take the runner off completely. I know the homeowner here, and they put it on there because they had kids running up and down the stairs and were afraid that they were going to slip and fall, which we could definitely replace this with a runner, bind the edges, and put it back in the same type of look that it is with new carpet. Or we could take it off and evaluate how the wood looked that coordinates with the wood over there. Most of the time, stairs do not match the hardwood because the hardwood manufacturers don't make the stair treads, so it never really matches, as you can see, but it does match the spindles and the railing. So we could either make it hardwood. We could go through the point of sanding, refinishing it. I'm going to suspect that we're going to pull that off, and with the light coming in here, that there's going to be some sun fading where this has been here. So that's probably going to make it, in my mind, cost prohibitive. That we probably put a runner back on, bind it. But there's all kinds of decorative runners you can do to make your stairs look different if you want, if this doesn't end up being carpet, to have a really nice runner on there. But yes, that's the carpeted option is definitely one that I would probably go back to.
All right, so question on tile then for you.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of tile that's cracked, broken, and there's maybe one or two. And it's, I don't know how easy that is to get to, but I'd love for our clients, and I would too, love to be able to give them a little bit more information on what is that process for you guys. I assume you're coming in and taking care of that in a couple of days. Is that something you guys also do, is repair tile if they need it? Are you dealing with any of that?
We do. We usually incorporate that with a job that we're currently doing.
Okay.
We don't go out and just do repairs, but the reason we do it is even if it gets out of our lane, to speak a little bit, by repairing tile, or if we get into subfloor work and we need to replace a piece, we do it for two reasons. It helps us secure the job because we're doing this all together. And anytime you bring another contractor to your house, there's an additional cost to that. So it helps keep the cost down for the consumer if we're able to do it.
Okay.
So we have great installers that we work with, and they understand that, hey, that's part of the job. If we have something we need to repair or replace, it just depends on the amount of it and what type of labor goes into it. But if we had to replace a few pieces of tile, the big thing is to find the tile and go through the exercise of making sure that we had something that looked exactly like this. But yes, if we had the tile and there was a couple cracked ones, we could absolutely put the repair piece as part of the project.
I want to ask you, Jason, we're upstairs now in the house, and we've got the same carpeting that we had from below, but we've got some different stuff up here. And so I'm even more curious now, how would you, or what would you recommend they do to address this if they're replacing carpet? Does this look okay? If they're just replacing that, would you leave this? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think, like we talked about downstairs, this carpet probably needs to be replaced and would help the sale of the home. And then you have the transition between two different surfaces of carpet, and it doesn't match. And I think in this situation, this carpet in the bedrooms, not in bad shape from a feel perspective. Feels like it has a decent pad under it still, but it has a lot of wear in it from kids playing and things that houses generally have that have been around for 20, 25 years. And I would say that this would need to be replaced also to match your carpet throughout. It would give a really good clean look. And once again, the smell of new carpet's going to help sell a home that needs a little flooring update. And I think that would definitely help the seller in this situation.
I appreciate your time here, Jason. I want to ask you something else, though. So we've talked a lot about the carpeting options, flooring options that you could go through. Then what are we looking at as far as installs? And I'm thinking of like the time of it all. What's the timing piece aspect for you guys?
Yes, the timing in a job like this is probably takes a week to get the materials, and then scheduling on installers. We're about 2 to 3 weeks out typically. We are pretty nimble and be able to work with somebody like this. If they needed a certain timeline, we can probably move it around to hit the market at the right time for them. But you're looking at, if we were to replace all the carpet in here, tear up, pad, putting carpet back down, it's probably a 2.5 day process for us to do that. If you're putting down hard surfaces, maybe a little bit longer, but it shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 days for us to come in, especially with the house being empty. That definitely helps. For them to be able to work in early or late and get this done in a few days, and hopefully be able to help them sell their house quickly.
Awesome. Last thing I want to be sure to ask is, how can people find you? How do you ask them to reach out? You're online, phone? How do you like them to reach out to you?
We are. You can call us, you can text us, you can find a QR code. They're on the vans. You can go to our website, which is Floor Coverings International. You type in Bloomington, it'll bring us up. Our URL is swind.floorcoveringsinternational, with this Southwest Indianapolis. Or you can just give us a call. Look us up and give us a call, or our number is 812-727-4700. And we'd love to hear from you. We can come out in a day or so if you need, even if you need an estimate. Everything from talking to you about these options is free and no commitment, and hope to do it at your convenience. So we'd love to hear from you.
Great. You guys going to be at the Bloomington Home Show this year?
Yes, we are. We definitely part of that. Love the exposure there, and we'll be out at the home show in a couple weeks.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rod. Appreciate you guys.